Good afternoon. This is the Cannon Academy. We are a homeschool, and I am a homeschool grandma. Today, I want to explain how to figure out how many lessons you need in 180 days of school, which is what most states seem to be requiring. You do need to check with your Department of Education to see if that's the case in your state. Now, what I did was I decided to look at math books I had, and one math book in particular had several chapters. It had 13 chapters. Each chapter had about 9 lessons in each chapter. So I put the 180 days of school, and it also had 151 pages. So I subtracted that, and there were 29 days more that I needed. So over here, I said in another book that I still needed 60 because there were 120. I had 60 pages in another book that was one of the workbooks that taught English, grammar, math, social studies, and science, but it only had 60 pages of math, and so I needed to find 120 more lessons or pages to teach. So then again, an actual textbook I had, that was a secular textbook by Houghton Mifflin, had 306 pages, and I figured that if I did 2 pages a day, that would be 153 days of lessons. It was also the book I used to divide up in chapters. That had the 13 chapters and 9 lessons per chapter, which when multiplied came out to 117 lessons. And when I took the 180 days required and I subtracted it as 117 lessons, that meant I needed to find 63 more lessons. Now, this particular math book also divided up at the end of each chapter. There were quizzes and chapter tests and things, so that was all figured into this. Now, with these 2 workbooks, I could take the extra days or lessons I needed and turn those into extra works pages that I found elsewhere for free, use other workbooks or other textbooks, use these 2 workbooks to supplement this textbook for extra practice. I could also add in tests and quizzes and things. For older kids, I'd say like 4th grade and up, I would probably do time test and different things like that. Now something that I would like to do is to show you how to figure out on a calendar your 180 days. So, our goal is to come up with 180 days. We know September has 30 days. And most school years these days start in July and run until the end of June. So, as long as you figure your 180 days anywhere from July 1st to June 30th, you're fine. Now, say I put September up here because sometimes I like to start school after Labor Day. So, Labor Day, I figured out earlier, is going to be on the 7th this year. Let me look. Yes, the 7th. So I would start on the 8th. So I would subtract 7 days. And I put Labor Day to remind me of why. That gives me 23 school days right there. October has 31 days. So that gives me 54 days right there. November has 30 days, which gives us 84. But we have Thanksgiving. Now, what I would do, and what I did when my daughter was younger, because we traveled to see one set of grandparents and the other set of grandparents were here in town, so we would take the day prior to that to get ready, cooking for both families, packing, things like that. And then we would take that Thursday and Friday off as well, and have the weekend to spend out of town, spending the in-town Thanksgiving with the grandparents here. And then when we got back, we would be tired, and we would just kind of get back into the gist of things by being at home and catching up on laundry, things like that, for 2 days. So I would subtract a total of 5 days, 3 for Thanksgiving week, Wednesday through Friday, and then the following Monday and Tuesday. So subtract 5 off of there and write Thanksgiving. And let's see, that gives us 79 days. So now we have December, which also has 31 days, which gives us a total of 110 days. I'm going to circle that because I'm out of room here, and I'm going to point up, and we're going to work from here. 110 days. Now, most people like to take off at least 2 weeks for Christmas. Now, this year, the 31st will be on a Thursday, so the January 1st would be a Friday. So that would mean that would mean that you would start school on January 4th of next year. So, and that would give you 10 full days off from the 21st of December through that Sunday the 3rd. So, subtract the 10. And we'll put winter break, because there are a lot of religious holidays in there that people include, and I do not want to offend anybody with their holidays by forgetting to name one. So now we have 180 days. January has 31 days. Add that in, 131. But we are not starting until the 4th. So we would subtract 3 days. $128 days. February has 28 days. $156 days right there. March, and I know you're all thinking that we're coming up close to a spring break, which is true, but bear with me here. A total of 187 days. So as of March 31st, you have met your 187 days with starting after Labor Day, taking 5 days off at Thanksgiving, 10 days off for winter break, and not starting until the 4th of January. 187 days. That gives you 7 days to play with if you're in a state where you only have to account for 180. Now what can you do with that? You can take your spring break. You can come back in April and you can do your summer school. You can finish out whatever school books you did not finish. You can start on the next year, whatever you so deem. This is just one example of how easy it is to figure out your 180-day plan. You can add vacations in here. You can school, maybe you want the whole summer off and you want to start after Labor Day. but you also want to take the winter off from December through February. You can do that. And then you can start back up in April and count from there the number of days that you need. So it's not rocket science. It's not as hard as people think. But I constantly get asked questions on, how do I do the 180 days? How do I know what to do? What days do I have to teach it on? That is up to you. It is your homeschool, your private school. And you can do this on a notebook paper. It's what I usually do with my calendar in front of me that shows the year in advance. There are planners you can get that start in July. There are planners you can get, of course, that start in January. If you want to start in September and you want a planner that starts in September, I would advise getting one of the blank planners that you can fill out on your own. Now, that can be in the form of a regular type planner like these. It can be the ones that are marked teacher planner, and they do come blank also sometimes. There are lots of those out there. You can find them at any educational store. You can find them at office supply stores. And a lot of times when school is getting ready to start in July, you can find them in the dollar section at Target. Walmart sometimes carries them. So there are a lot of places you can do this. So don't make it any harder on yourself than it has to be as far as figuring out how to do curriculum and how to plan out how many pages or lessons you're going to do a day. And going back to that part, you may have to say, oh, my child can only handle one lesson a day in each subject. Fine. That's good too. There'll be other days where they just sort through it and they're excited and they want to keep on doing it, and you can work ahead. It's not a big deal as long as you can cover all the information that you deem necessary, or if you're in a state that requires you to teach a specific level in a subject and so much of it and things like that that you account for. As long as you meet those requirements, you're fine and everything. Again, check out your Department of Education. They have a wealth of knowledge. They will have your high school diploma requirements as far as credits and things. They will tell you what needs to be taught and what levels of each grade. You can choose to register or not register. You can belong to the HSDLA, I believe it's called. It's a legal service. You don't have to. I've never belonged to it. I did register with my state to be a homeschooler. They assign me my name. They assign me a school number that I can use on report cards, transcripts, and things like that. It just made it so much easier for me and made me feel more accountable, which is what happens with some curriculums when you pay extra for those advisory services and to send in tests and paperwork or to do them online and things like that. You're being held accountable. So it's just a matter of what you want for your child and yourself, what you're willing to do. And again, figuring out the lesson plans, figuring out your schedule for your 180 days with breaks and things. It is not hard. It really is not. And I'm here to answer questions if you have any. Feel free to look me up on Facebook. I will be more than happy to answer there too. Again, so Cannon Academy, have a wonderful day. Thank you.